All right, so next we are going to go into the CSU GE pattern so that you have a clear understanding of what that pattern is all about and what courses you need to complete to finish that up. So on the Transfer Center webpage, if you go to the heading here of the transfer process, the first one is general education, so click on that. And then you can see the three different GE patterns for SRJC that are transferable. So CSU GE pattern option B is what we're going to be working with here. And get myself out of the way. All right, so here you can see the GE pattern. To complete Area A, which is an admissions requirement, you need a Comms 1 or 60, which is public speaking, speech 1, or Comms 1, and Comms 6 is communication skills. So if speech terrifies you, which instructors are very aware of, do the research to see which one would be better for you. The Comms 1 would obviously transfer to the CSU or the UC, and the 60 is just going to go to the CSU. So keep that in mind. And the other thing I want to mention is a few years ago, these classes were called Speech 1A and Speech 60. So if you took it when it was under the discipline of speech, it's still the same class. They just switched over to the Comms discipline. Area A2 is English 1A or ESL 10. And then you need one critical thinking. So you would choose one of these classes to complete Area A3. The other admissions requirement is your math. So that's Area B4. So this would be taking one of these math classes or Psych 9, which is a behavioral statistics class. Math is determined by your major. So if your major is biology and you're looking at going on to med school, then you're going to want to do calculus, or you're going to need to do calculus. Your major is most likely going to require that. If you are an English major, they typically don't care what math you do. So you could do any one of these maths. It's up to you which one you would want to do. So you want to look on Assist to see, okay, well, what math does my major require, if any? All right, going on with Area B. Area B1 is a physical science, and Area B2 is a life science. One of those needs to have a lab component. And so the lab components are indicated by the asterisk and the L. So Agra 60, the lab is part of the class. So you do not enroll in a separate class. You're going to take Ag 60, which is going to be the lecture and the lab as a combined class. Whereas for Astronomy 3, it's just the lecture. And if you want a lab, then you either have to sign up for 3L or 12. Okay. So again, you need one lab, either in the physical sciences or in the life sciences. So here in the life sciences, you could take anthro with the lab. You could take a bio with a lab. NRM 51 is trees and shrubs. So you have options there, and you really want to choose the one that's a good fit for you. Area C is 9 units. You need 1 arts and 1 humanities, and the third class can come from either section. Okay, so that's up to you. If you are that English major, you're going to have all these English classes that you could possibly choose from for your major. So typically an English major is taking 30.1, 30.2, 46.1, 46.2. Often they have to do English 1B. So they're going to meet that C2 and C3 by the means of what is required of their major. Okay. Area D is also 9 units. You need 3 classes in this section from 2 different disciplines. So what that means is you're not going to take all 3 classes in psych. You can take 2 classes in psych to apply to that area and then take something else like an anthro or something. The plus sign means that that course is somewhere else on the GE sheet and it only counts once. So Psych 3 is also in Area E, but you would only apply the credit to Area D or E, not both. And then Area E is lifelong learning and self-development. This is a 3-unit class or a 3-unit requirement. So you need one class in here that you would want to take to satisfy that requirement. The next section is a U.S. history and poli-sci 1. This is not part of the GE pattern, which makes it a little bit confusing. It's a CSU graduation requirement, and we put it on here because these classes are up in Area D and can double count, okay? So you could take one of those classes, History 21, and it's going to meet 3 units in Area D, and it's going to meet your CSU graduation requirement. So if you don't do U.S. History and Government here at SRJC, you just have to do it prior to graduating from the CSU. Now, we talked about those high unit majors, and as a high unit major, remember you have to have 30 units of GE completed. So if you're that bio major, and your major requires Math 1A and 1B, that's 10 units. You're most likely going to do Bio 10, that's 4 units. You would also be required to take chemistry, possibly Chem 3B as well. And you would need that chemistry 3A, 3AL, because it's a prerequisite to Bio 2.1. And you need 2.1 to go into 2.2 and 2.3, and both of those are 5 units. Plus, you're going to do admissions requirements of Area A. So the 30 units as a high unit major is typically not hard to get. You don't have any problem doing that. On the second page here, there are some campus notes. So you can get full certification or you can get partial certification. So that's something to keep in mind. But again, remember, if you have it all done, then you don't have to do those lower division GEs once you transfer. Then we have some campus notes. So for example, I went to Sac State. There was a foreign language proficiency requirement that I had to meet. So there's different ways you can meet this. Sometimes it was, or what will meet it is 3 years of high school coursework or some college coursework, two semesters, I believe. So you want to look that up because again, those foreign language classes are all in the humanities. So then you're meeting that requirement through the humanities if you know that Sac State is on your list. Sac State also has a World Civ requirement. If you don't have, if you have Area C done, if it's certified, then you don't have to worry about that. They have a Race and Ethnicity in American Society. There's that History 21. So History 21 for Sac State would meet that requirement, the U.S. History requirement, as well as Area D. So it's triple counting. And then they have a second semester composition of English that you can do as well, English 1B or 5. So looking at the campus notes is a good thing as well. So I recommend you print this. It's just kind of easier to mark up, or if you have a laptop that you can touch and just do check marks, whatever works for you, but definitely you want to utilize this. When you do the Check My Degree completion in your student portal, you can run through this and do a degree audit, but it's also helpful for you just to become familiar with it and the classes that are listed in here. All right, that's it on the CSU GE sheet.